Hey everyone, and welcome to the Marvel Snap Decks of the Week Creators Clash Edition. This week we're doing things a little differently because we're featuring 5 deck lists from the New York City in-person LAN. These decks, I believe, you can take onto the standard ladder and find success. I finished 7th of 16 at this event, and I gotta tell you, the caliber of player was truly remarkable. These were fantastic people that were exceptionally good at the game and exceptionally wonderful people to hang out with. So guys, I gotta be honest with you, I couldn't be more excited about the community in Marvel Snap because if this weekend proved anything, it proved that we are surrounded by amazing people, amazing supportive people that want this game to succeed, and most importantly, appreciate all the support that you guys have provided. We are going to be having 5 different deck lists here, and I invite you to actually check out the content creators who are featured in this video, because in the description I'm going to be linking their Twitches, their YouTubes, or whatever I can find to help them kind of get a little bit more exposure, because I do think that we have some absolutely amazing content creators out there, and they're making incredible decks, some of which we might just say can win a tournament. With that being said, let's get started with deck number 1. Deck number 1 is Ordinary Harry's Thanos Zoo. Now, this was the deck that ultimately won the tournament. This is the one that Harry took right to the championship and managed to take out DMoney. And I gotta tell you, he piloted it with incredible success. And the reason why I love this list, I absolutely love it, it's not because there's M'Baku in it, a card that I literally have never played because I refused to play him because I actually legit thought he was terrible. Do I have to admit publicly here that maybe I was wrong about M'Baku, that the first in-person LAN had an M'Baku in it that won? Hey, listen, if I have to admit that I was wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong, because Harry showed that M'Baku can get it done, and this deck list is not that expensive. Yes, that's Thanos as a Series 5 card, but realistically, you got Spectrum, you do have Valkyrie, which is a little more expensive, but you got Leech, Blue Marvel, Khazar, Mr. Fantastic. These are cards that we all have. These are low pool 1 and 2 cards, and so this is not an expensive list, all things considered, and it won the entire tournament. So it was really cool to see. Now, obviously, it is one of those deck lists that has a challenge with board space. Managing board space is incredibly important. You do have the Lockjaw engine here, and that's kind of the vital component of this particular list. But overall, Harry showed that this deck list can win because he absolutely annihilated the entire tournament. He never dropped a single series, and it was Thanos that did it. And you know what? A lot of people were sleeping on Thanos, but this list showed exactly what it's capable of. Next up, we've got to talk about DMoney's Life is RNG Devil Dinosaur list. Now, I absolutely love this deck list. I think it is an ideal deck list for competitive play, specifically in tournament settings, because you have the Maria Hill, the Agent Coulson, you got the White Queen, you have Cable, you have all this disruption, and also with the Maria Hill Coulson, your opponent doesn't know what you have. So even if they studied your deck list for days and days in advance, they can't predictably know what you're going to pull from these cards, and that makes this really strong. I actually really like as well how it has a very, very low curve. I tend to like that as a player. I like the idea of playing on turn 1, playing on turn 2, playing on turn 3. I like that. I don't like skipping turns. And DMoney always had a card to play. And you're also seeing cards like Collector, who's not seeing a lot of play, right? Maria Hill, I mean, Coulson's getting a lot popular now, but Maria Hill, beautiful. And ultimately, Devil Dinosaur was by far one of the most popular cards in the entire tournament, which was crazy because we all submitted our deck list without really talking to each other in advance. So we submitted it, and then they were all revealed at the same time, and so many people brought Devil Dinosaur. And you guys know I'm a Devil Dinosaur enjoyer, so I ironically didn't bring Devil Dinosaur. So it was really great to see. But regardless, DMoney's deck list really showed what it was capable of, specifically if you're looking for an amazing Devil Dinosaur deck list. Up next, we've got to talk about Coco 4's Turn 5 Disaster. I love the title and I love the deck. And as I said prior, Devil Dinosaur was by far one of the most popular kind of archetypes brought to the tournament, which was really surprising, to be honest with you. And I wanted to show you this because it's a different spin on Devil Dinosaur, which was, again, very successful. Coco 4 finished 3rd. And as I say that, I just realized I just featured Ordinary Harry, DMoney, and Coco 4 in finishing order, and that actually was not intentional, to be honest with you. But anyways, I digress. Let's actually talk about the deck list. What I like about this deck list here is that you're seeing a number of cards that are just true performers, right? You have the Devil Dinosaur, but mainly I liked the addition of the Daredevil into the Professor X, which gave Coco 4 a lot of additional control. Now, the reason why this works really well is because when you have that type of control element, you're able to predict their play in advance. So if they're doing something like a Shuri, you can use Arrow. If they're doing something like, whatever else, you can put the Cosmo down, you can play the Devil Dinosaur on top to protect it. Mainly, you want to shut down a location with Professor X. So it gave Coco a ton of extra ability to kind of control his opponent. And this is notable because with Daredevil, you really do have an advantage when you snap and your opponent just freezes, especially at a LAN tournament. So this deck list really did a number on people when basically Daredevil came down, snapped, and they knew they were vulnerable to both Arrow and Professor X and Devil Dinosaur. So it was absolutely incredible, and I really like the inclusion of Mr. Fantastic. It came so in handy for him because there were so many times where he had to reach into inaccessible locations, and Mr. Fantastic did exactly that. Not to mention it can reach into the Professor X location as well. You obviously had the Shang-Chi, which is a great tech card. Everyone needs Shang-Chi, especially for all the Devil Dinosaurs that we were facing apparently. Ironically, Shang-Chi was teched in for the Shiris, but Devil Dinosaur became so prevalent that is how we dealt with that as well, because basically no one brought Enchantress. Regardless, Coco 4's Turn 5 Disaster is an exceptionally well done deck list. You can see how it has elements of control in it while also having hand generation. Now, with that being said, that is the one thing it's short on. It does not have the hand generation that you're usually using with someone like Devil Dinosaur. You only have Sentinel and White Queen. You don't have the Agent 13s, you don't have the cables, so you might be a little thinner on your hand, but you've got the pieces to win the game. Eggsforsale was one of the absolute top performers in New York City, bringing a deck list called Rockslide into DM. And I like this deck list a lot because it really showcases that even after nerfs, yes, Zabu's not just for negative anymore. You can still use Darkhawk and the others to basically set up a bunch of power and take advantage of not only the disruption you're creating with Korg and Rockslide, but also play big cards, just damn good cards like Devil Dinosaur. Eggsforsale piloted this deck list to immense success, getting all the way to the semifinals while basically sweeping the entire bottom bracket. So you're talking about someone who really performed well, played this deck list immaculately, and showcased just how powerful a well-balanced deck list can be. Darkhawk, Moongirl, I mean, all these cards are just, like, we love these as 4s, and like, when Zabu was running rampant, we kind of leaned on these cards to kind of like give us unfair advantages. And now that Zabu got nerfed, people are sleeping on Darkhawk, but not Eggsforsale. Eggsforsale brought Darkhawk to New York, and with Devil Dinosaur and specifically Arrow to deal with those Shiris, was able to really control the gameplay and obviously hit a ton of power across the board in many stages of her games. Ultimately, Eggsforsale's Rockslide into DM's deck list shows that Darkhawk isn't dead. So if you're someone who's looking to experiment with a Darkhawk based list while also playing Devil Dinosaur, everyone's favorite dino for the tournament, here's a list that you can depend on. Next up, we're talking about Dera's Resident Sleeper deck list, and I love this deck list because it really is a very concisely designed Death Wave list. Yes, you've got Wave, and then you have the classic Death, She-Hulk, and Arrow combination. But the reason why this deck worked so well for Dera in the tournament, and why it worked well enough to knock me out of the tournament ultimately, is that it has every answer you need from a tech perspective. It's great from that regard. You have Wave to disrupt combo decks on turn 6. You also have Iceman to disrupt combo decks earlier. You have Yondu to cause disruption as well and to get a little bit of scouting information. And I love that during the tournament, because it's an open deck list tournament, he was writing down what cards he was destroying, right? And it was great because he had information. If he destroyed my Shang-Chi, he knew he could play She-Hulk and Death without fear, right? So it's really important to keep note of what's being hit by that Yondu. You have the classic Bucky Barnes Carnage combination, Killmonger, another tech card that not only activates his Death with Squirrel Girl, but if there's a Sunspot on board, an Ebony Maw, whatever it is, boom, gone. And of course, Shang-Chi itself, Arrow for the waves. So many answers in a deck list. Every card has an answer. Every card is a tool for success, and that's why I really liked this deck list. And I think Dera did a great job piloting it as well at the tournament, because obviously he found success there, but it just goes to show that sometimes designing a deck list where every card has a role to play in it can be one that helps you find success. Well, guys, I hope you guys liked this video. The event was an absolute blast to participate in, and I hope to see you guys again in the future, both on this channel and live, because we are having an absolute blast here in Marvel Snap, and things are only getting started with the competitive scene. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next Marvel Snap video.